Hello everyone. Today we're talking about World War I. This war is also known as Great War or Global War because none of the war in the history before has this kind of magnitude. This war is also known as End to All Wars as people believe that there will never be such big war after this kind of war, but unfortunately, Second World War took place no more than 30 years after the end of the First World War. World War I began in 28th July 1914 and ended in 11th November 1918. Almost 17 million people were killed in this war, in which almost 11 million people were soldiers and 6 million were civilians. More than 20 million people were injured in this war. This war was between Allied power countries and Central power countries. Russia, France, Britain, USA, Japan were in the Allied power, whereas Austria-Hungarian Empire, Germany, and Ottoman Empire fought from the Central power. Currently, Turkey, Saudi Arabia, and Iraq is located in the Ottoman Empire. Only around 1917, America joined this war. Besides these, all these countries of Africa like Togo, Cameroon, Tanzania were all the colony of Germany. These are the colony of big countries like France, Britain, Russia, and they fought for Allied power. Mainly, there are four reasons for World War I. They are militarism, alliance system, imperialism, and nationalism. Militarism. On those days, almost all countries give special attention in making weapons. Machine guns were created in this time and were firstly used in World War I. Big tanks were also created and used firstly by Britain. Big ships were created with different kinds of weapons. Britain and Germany were leading in making different kinds of weapons. Britain and Germany were having industrial revolution and were considered as one of the most developed countries in the world. All the countries were increasing their army in their respective countries. New weapons were being created, were trying to make rockets. Of this militarism, all countries, especially Japan, Britain, and Germany, were considering themselves as the strongest countries in the world. Second reason, alliance. Different countries were making secret alliance with different countries. Germany, Austria-Hungary, and Italy made a triple alliance in 1882, whereas France, Britain, and Russia made an alliance named Triple Entity in June 9, 2007. Although Italy was in a triple alliance, but it did not fought with Germany and Austria-Hungary. When First World War started, Italy supported France and Britain. Czechoslovakia, Poland, Ukraine, Romania were a part of Austria-Hungary Empire, but after the war, they all got separated. Allied power was bigger in size, so they have lots of resources. Third reason is imperialism. All Western European countries were making their own colony. They were increasing their area as much as they could. Africa was really big and was not explored fully. Britain was leading this and all countries were taking examples of Britain. Almost 25% of world area were under British Empire. Because of this, Britain has lots of resources and manpower. For example, 1,300,000 people fought only from India during First World War. This number is greater than Britain's own army from its own country. Fourth reason is nationalism. People tend to believe that only by fighting and winning the war, their countries will be developed and considered superpower. This prestige of the country tends to depend on how many wars it has won recently. This was really dangerous thinking and was one of the main reasons for World War I. Besides this reason, Russia wanted to do a trade with the world, but Ottoman Empire was between the route. If Ottoman Empire grew strong, this would create a problem for Russia. This is the reason Russia fought against the Ottoman Empire. All the European countries were much advanced in science and technology and weapons. They were thinking if any war happens, it won't be a long last because they were really advanced. But none of this thing happened. They were all thinking that without war, no country can be made or will be developed. During all this, on June 28, 1914, Prince of Austria-Hungary Archduke Franz Ferdinand and his wife were gunshot at Sarajevo, which lies in Bosnia. Javerio Prince Philip was the shooter who was linked with Black Hand organization. Austria-Hungary blamed Serbia for this incident as Serbia was helping Bosnia to get independence from Austria-Hungary. Austria-Hungary warned Serbia for surrender. Serbia asked help from Russia and Austria-Hungary asked help from Germany. Austria-Hungary and Germany attacked Serbia. Russia announced battle against Germany. After a few days, France also announced battle against Germany because according to the Triple Entente, Russia and France has to help each other in these kinds of situations. In this way, France got involved in this war. Till now, Britain has not been involved in this war. Even though Italy was a part of Triple Alliance with Austria-Hungary and Germany, Italy remained neutral as per the agreement. They have to support if other countries attack them, not if they attack other country. Russian army was very large, so Germany decided to attack France instead. For this, Germany used the way of Belgium to attack France. Only after this, Britain announced the battle against Germany because Britain and Belgium had an agreement long ago that if someone attacked Belgium, then Britain will defend Belgium. Germany was also moving really forward initially against France and Germany, almost reached Paris, but with the help of Britain, they were not successful to reach Paris. Germans were doing very good against Russia as well, where they killed almost 300,000 Russian soldiers. After this, Ottoman Empire also attacked Russia because they always had bad relations with each other and they both want to expand their colony in expense of other. Germany and France were fighting continuously for 3 years non-stop. They were both unable to win the war. Many soldiers were getting killed and sick. A lot of diseases were spreading and many people died due to illness rather than fighting. In 1916, during the Battle of Somme, almost 80,000 soldiers were killed in a single day. This might be the highest number in the human history. Now, I want to talk about why First World War is also known as Global War. All the colony of Germany that lies in Africa like Togo, Tanzania and Cameroon all were attacked by the colony of France and Britain. Japan also attacked the colony of Germany in Asia. Japan and Britain has also an agreement to help each other when needed a long time ago. Now Japan also got involved in this war. Germany first created and used a submarine and named U-boat in this war, which destroyed many ships and killed a lot of people. Initially, these U-boats were only attacking the military ships, but after some time it started to attack the civilian ships as well. Among those ships, they attacked the ships owned by America named Lusitania that transported Americans to Europe, where 1,200 Americans were killed. After this incident, America also took part in this war in 1917. In 1914, US President Woodrow Wilson had announced that USA will be neutral in this war, but finally in 1917, it took part in the war. So in April of 1917, USA got in the war. Before this, USA was neutral but was supplying and selling weapons to both parties. USA was supplying warships, arms, weapons and food to both parties. USA had been supplying weapons not only to England but to Germany as well. But when its ship was attacked by German U-boat, then USA decided to take part in the war. The other reason is Germany was sending message to Mexico to attack USA because everyone knew USA will be in war sooner or later. Germany was looking for Mexico to join in the Central Power and to attack USA. Russia was having its own revolution in 1917, and Russia was fighting along with England and France in Allied power. There was a big revolution in the month of February in Russia, and the king of Caesar Nicholas II was removed from the power. In October, there was another great revolution led by the Bolshevik party leader Lenin, and Lenin came to power in Russia. After this, Russia did a peace treaty with Germany because Lenin was against this world war. Russia did this agreement with Germany without France and Britain. This treaty is known as Brest-Litovsk, which happened in 1918. Now Germany does not have to focus on both sides, and it started to fight from one side only. USA was fresh, and because of this, Allied army was moving forward rapidly, and finally in 1918, Germany surrendered the war. Finally, the Treaty of Versailles took place in 28th June 1918 at the Palace of Versailles, Paris. According to this treaty, all the blame was poured upon Central Power, specifically over Germany. Although Allied power destroys Central Power, all the blame were put over Germany. Germany lost its all colony over Africa and Middle East. Germany had to pay the large amount of sum to Britain and France. This amount was so big that Germany cleared this only on 2010. All the colonies that belonged to Germany were shared by Britain and France. USA was against colonialism, so did not take any colony from any country. World War I is also known as Graveyard of Empires because lots of empires were lost after this war. German Empire, Austria-Hungary Empire, Russian Empire, and Ottoman Empire were all diminished after this war. Lots of new countries were created after this war, like Austria, Hungary, Czechoslovakia, Yugoslovakia were created from Austria-Hungary Empire. Likewise, Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania, Poland, Finland were created from Germany and Russia. The part of Middle East were divided among French and Britain, but Turkey remained with Ottoman Empire. This is known as Sykes-Picot Agreement. These are the old empire as shown here, and this is the new empire. This is Turkey, and this is Ottoman Empire. This is a modern-day Syria that was taken by France. This is Iraq, taken by British. After this war, the whole map was changed. Now I'm going to talk about how technology were used during World War I. Before this war, technology were used that much. Radio was first used as a way for communication. Armored cars with metal plating that can block bullets were used. Tanks were firstly used by British. Barbed wire were first used. German submarine or U-boat were used by Germans. Machine guns were used by both parties. Mustard gas were used as a chemical weapon. This was the first war with chemical warfare. Planes were used heavily to blast a bomb. Now I am going to talk about the effects of World War I. First of all, it's the health. Lots of people were killed due to illness. Antibiotics were not developed during those days. Antibiotics were created in 1929 only. Spanish flu that was transferred by H1N1 virus killed 50 million people. This flu was spread throughout the world. This flu was back in 2009 as well. This flu was worldwide from 1918 to 1920. More people were killed by this flu than the war. People suffered from post-traumatic stress disorder. There were a significant decline in male population in Europe. All the praises of the war were all gone. As males were busy fighting the war, females started to work in the factories. Hitler rose to power in Germany after World War I. Great Britain was economically very strong before World War I, but after the war it was economically weak and had lots of loan to pay to USA. USA became economically strong and established League of Nations whose main aim was to prevent from such wars in future. But slowly League of Nations failed and Second World War soon happened. I hope that you guys have acquired a lot of information, and if you liked it, then share this video and click to subscribe our YouTube channel, and also write down in comments below if you want to see more such videos. We will meet you in the next video.